Hello, and welcome to Handled-ish Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy Hayes, and I am super happy you're here with me in podcast land or on YouTube. This is episode 55, which just happens to be my age, which is very cool. I should have made this an extra special episode. Well, I don't know. They're all kind of extra special, right? Because I get to, share thoughts with you. I want to talk today about over-indexed joy and putting more of it into our lives. So I started thinking about this actually for several weeks. But last week I was having a conversation with my students. I'm teaching an advanced PR and advertising writing course this semester. And I was, bringing in some show and tell because in addition to talking about writing, I also obviously want to talk about best practices in advertising and PR. And so I was sharing some ideas, and it was really interesting. In the middle of the sharing, I really, got this light bulb that what I was really sharing with them are ideas that have low effort and high ROI. And we had a conversation about how there are many things in anyone's professional world, not just mine, that have low effort and high reward. And that is, obviously a good place to spend our time, right? High effort, high reward, also a lovely place to spend our time. High effort, low reward is definitely where we don't want to hang out, right? And same with low effort, low reward, right? So it was a really fun conversation about low effort, high reward, low effort, high ROI, high return on investment. And it reminded me of a saying that I actually use a lot. It's this idea of this over-index joy. And sometimes I will say that in conversations with people, this gives me over-index joy. And what I mean by that is it seems to be a very small thing that's giving me more joy than it should, because it's just literally this tiny thing. But we as humans all have these things that may appear tiny. Whether they are actual things, whether they are things people do, whether they are things we do, it can be things, it can be behaviors, it can be thoughts, it can be anything, right? That are over-indexed joy for us. And that is completely customizable by human. What is over-indexed joy for me may or may not, and probably won't, be over-indexed joy for you. And the point is that I believe that really paying attention to that can lead to some really cool stuff. And you don't even have to, do anything different this week. I just want to issue you a little challenge that as you're going throughout your week, pay attention to things that you believe are over-indexed joy for you. And what I'm going to say next. Consider, inserting them in your life more frequently. There also is this, critical mass, right? If there's something that's over-indexed joy and we overdo it, it's not going to over-index in joy for us. So we have to be careful, right? There's definitely a midpoint, and usually it's, occasionally rather than all the time, sprinkled into our lives, can keep the over-indexed joy. Some things, are so fabulous we can do every day. And so, maybe pay attention to frequency also. But it's kind of a cool thing to think about and kind of, chew on, maybe have conversations with people about it. Hey, this provides me with over-indexed joy. What about you? And that sort of thing. A few examples from me. And again, doesn't matter at all what over-indexes joy for me, because it's all about you. And I want you to think this week about what over-indexes with joy for you. Low effort, high reward. I think I've talked about this before, but I drink out of Christmas mugs all year round. And this is one that I cannot max out on over-index joy. I can't overdo it. I love Christmas mugs, and I love them in December. I love them in March. I love them in July. I love them in October. Doesn't matter. Christmas mugs make me really happy. So I have a plethora of them, and I use them all year long. Does that mean that I only use Christmas mugs? No. I also have some other mugs that I truly love. And so I sort of mix it up. But the point is, these suckers never go back in. Oh, for those of you who are listening, I am holding up a red Christmas mug with this very, very darling snowman who's holding a snowball, looking like he's going to have a snowball fight. So he's pretty jolly. And I love him as I love this mug. Something else that over indexes in joy for me is puffy soap. That's what my family calls it. I think technically it's foaming soap. And I particularly love scented foaming soap. Again, can't overdo that either. I have foaming soap or puffy soap, as I like to call it, and all of the at all of the sinks in the house. And seasonal scents are great. If I'm not done with the soap and the season's over, I just keep it going because that feels very. I tried that one year when the season changed, if the soap wasn't done, I just put it under the sink and got the new season sent out. And then I ended up with a whole bunch of puffy soaps that were sort of half or three-quarters finished, and it kind of annoyed me. So now the soap is out until it runs out, and then I put a new scent, and whatever season it is, and I try to match the seasons with the scents as much as I can, but without spending too much time or effort. But every time I wash my hands, the puffy soap and the scent makes me over-indexed happy. And so that is really fun. Another thing that I love to the moon and over indexes joy for me are sticky notes. I know there's a lot of opinions about sticky notes. I happen to love them. It's something that I take notes on throughout the day. And then I have certain times of my day when I process, that's what I call it, process my sticky notes, where I either do the thing that's on the sticky note, I write it in my to-do list, I send the email, whatever the thing is that I want to do with processing my sticky notes, and then I throw them away. And I just have sticky notes in lots of places, in a couple places in the house. I have them in my car, at stoplights. I'm safe. And of course, I have them at work. So there's just always an opportunity to jot a little quick note, and then I process them, and I get all my thoughts there. What does not provide me with over-index joy is forgetting ideas that I have that I really like. Whether it's something I want to do or an idea for something I'm writing or class or whatever. And so sticky notes help me get rid of that under-indexed situation, because nothing makes me more frustrated than having an idea and not being able to remember it later. I bet some of you will relate to that. So having sticky notes everywhere really helps with that. And I love fun colors, and it's just, again, over-indexed joy, because they're pretty great and very practical, and two things that I really love. Making my bed is also so an activity, a behavior that is over-indexed with joy for me. Takes about 3 seconds. Yeah, okay, maybe 20. And it just makes me so happy. Every time I go in my room and my bed's made and it just looks very inviting for the evening, it makes me kind of feel organized and not disheveled. And it's pretty great. Um, so those are just a couple of things that provide me with over-indexed joy. Um, Oh, daily text messages. I just want to share a couple more that are not thing related. Daily text messages. I send my daughter individually a text message every morning with some sort of GIF, and a lot of times it's good morning related. Sometimes it's related to the month or the season or just something goofy. It's really over-indexed joy for me to search different things on the iPhone GIF, the images tab, and find funny little things to send to my kids. I do that every morning. I also have a group text with my mom and my brother. I send the same GIF and the good morning thing to them. And, eventually people respond. My mom and my brother share gifts also. My children tend not to, but it's still just a little touch point moment for me, because they do not live with me. And so I don't get to see them every morning. And so it is an over-indexed joy thing for me. And it takes literally, 10 seconds for me to send those 3 text messages. And, sometimes longer if I'm, having fun scrolling. And that is something else I love. There's also a couple of regular columns that I love to read that bring me over-index joy. One is an ethics column in the New York Times, and one, I can't even remember what it's called, but it's about general advice. And I love seeing people's questions. I love what the answers are. I love thinking about whether or not those answers are answers that I would give. Sometimes I get inspiration, right? Maybe for a podcast or a writing project or a class. Again, low ROI. I'm literally reading, these columns that come out a maximum of twice per week. And I can read them on my phone via my app. And I know that it brings me over index joy. And so I make sure I do that on a regular basis. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't love those as much if they came out every day. So this is an example of something that doesn't have to happen all the time that, I know brings me joy. So what are the things that you really enjoy? Are there things in your world that you should interact with, physical things that bring you joy? Whether, you need to use your, special dishes or burn a candle or, sit outside in your backyard more than you do, or, walk around the block or have a visit with your neighbor or make a phone call or get some puffy soap or, make sure that you try a new recipe all the time. That is something that I'm pretty sure is an over-index joy for me too. I love trying new recipes. And so if I haven't tried one for a while, it's obviously time to do that because I know it's something that brings me joy. So what is it for you? And play with that this week. Have conversations about it. Ask your family. Go, hey, what are kind of the things that are very, very low effort that you think, bring me joy? And it probably will be a really funny conversation because there's usually stuff that is so silly, but, brings people joy. For example, laundry is over index joy for a lot of people, as with ironing, and that's great. God bless you. Again, we know how I feel about ironing, but God bless you for people that love it. And, a couple of you out there know who I'm talking to. Um, so yeah, so have fun with that this week and bring yourself a lot of over-index joy, things that take very little effort and have very high reward for you. That'll make everything else that you have planned, go better because you're getting these little sparks of joy, throughout your day and throughout your week and throughout your month. And that's all good stuff, I think, for sure. Okay. I will, nope. I have one more idea. Sorry. I had the list of things I want to talk to you about, and then I keep thinking about other things. There's also clothing that has over-indexed joy for us. It might, there are things that we wear and we know that, wow, you know what? I feel great when I wear this. Or maybe it's an accessory, shoes or, earrings or a purse or a scarf or a coat or, whatever. That you when you wear it, it's over-indexed joy. You just really, really love it. Maybe, get it in a different color. Maybe increase it in the rotation. Think about that sort of thing as well. So have some fun. All right, I promise I'm done now. So have the most fabulous week. Let me know what you think. BetsyAHayes.com is my website. If you're liking the podcast, please make sure you subscribe. Those numbers are super fun. Rating and reviewing, making comments, all the things just are very over-indexed joy for me. So please help a sister out. And yeah, look forward to connecting again next time on Handled Ish Productivity for the Imperfect. Until then, if you're like me, enjoy your coffee in a Christmas mug and please take care of yourself and give yourself grace because you know what I'm going to say. You are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me.